Good.
Good afternoon,
Wow.
everybody. Welcome to Enigma Day number 16. Can you believe it already? And today we're delighted to welcome Gica Loening in Scotland. And take it away, Gica.
Thank you. Well, I am really thrilled to be here, not or be with you guys. And I'm speaking from our flat in Edinburgh, and right near the sea. So I feel very lucky that we can just run down to the sea and get lots of fresh air. So I hope you're all doing well wherever you are. And just to start off, I'd just really like to say a huge thank you to Ilana, who's been doing this day in, day out, and has got probably not quite halfway through the project, but getting there. And you know, it's the most fantastic thing to be happening. So really delighted. And plus, it's got me playing my fiddle, which is always a good thing. So I received a bunch of manuscript handwritten tunes from Ilana, and you know, wondered what to make of them. But it's been really interesting looking at them and trying to bring them to life out of one-dimensional dots on the paper. So I'm going to start off with Nigun number 58, and this is one of the ones that I've recorded to go in the archive. I'm considering recording it again because I did it in quite a hurry and I've really got to know it now much more. So it's great how it sort of takes a life of its own. This one, wait a minute, where's my notes? Nigun 58. Okay, it's from an old sound recording in the Kiev archives of number 115/2, and possibly from the town of Slatuva, but I'm not entirely certain if I've got that right. The other one that I will be playing as well is from around 1913. So I don't know, Ilana, whether you can comment on that and whether this one is as well, from around that time. But anyway, you can tell me later. I'll play it first. What I really like about this, it's really upbeat. It's definitely a dance tune, and it must certainly be for singing and dancing.
Right, that was really
So,
lovely. Love it.
yeah. So I played the actual key that it's written in is G, and I've changed it to my favorite, the common fiddle key, which is D. So what's written here is actually you know, which I like as well. But as soon as you lift it up that fifth, I just feel it becomes a real fiddle dance tune. But I can also totally still hear people singing it. And I know one or two, this has been a discussion that's happened on many of the niguns a day, which is around the voice versus the fiddle, and it's really is this fiddle is the voice, I would say. So and it can't help but become a fiddle tune. So, but you know, you could really hear those voices singing. I can hear kind of great big party happening with sort of whirling dancers and voices all at the same time.
There was a nice
so
story in the introduction, in Beregovski's introduction to the book, about how I don't think it was him, but one of the Hasidim was talking about how his dad would have all his mates round for Shabbos. So they come round on Friday night and sing and dance. Then they come round on Saturday after synagogue, after shul, and sing and dance. And then they come round on Saturday night again after it was all finished and sing and dance some more. So I think you're absolutely right. And although he said that the first half of this book is Tish-Nigunim, so table tunes, I think you're absolutely right. And the names, sometimes it's Tish-Nigunim and sometimes it's just Nign,
sometimes
something else even.
And so I guess the other, well, there's several things that inspired me about that one. I think it being so joyous, and particularly at this time when we're all in lockdown, it felt like very joyous and very much about being together with other people, and the kind of social context of where this tune would have been. And this hi there, Joe. Is that Joe Burns? Oh, it's so great to see you, Joe. She's just toasting a little whiskey at me. Is that a whiskey? You know, it's so it really resonates with me because I am very much, I'm mainly a dance musician. You know, I would say more than any kind of soloist. I'm certainly not really like a soloist. I'm more I am a dance musician. So this really resonates, and it's all about context. It's all about what would this have been used for, and you know, it's all about people coming together. So I particularly liked that one, and it very much led me on to thinking about how similar that is in no matter what tradition we're talking about. So the Scottish tradition, of course, has very similar. So I don't know how many people have heard of mouth music, which is a Gaelic tradition, and it's very similar. It's about using your voice and singing where you don't have an instrument. It was perhaps less because of instruments being banned, although that was a factor, certainly with bagpipes, but more often to do with just people being poor and not having instruments. So you'd use your body for body percussion, you'd use step dancing for rhythm and percussion, and the voice, equally the same as the Jewish nigun, was for dancing to. So so mouth music, you can go and look it up. I don't know if there's any questions at this point about that, because I find that interesting about the connection.
Actually, Richard's asked a question. He just wants to know if because you play a lot of Scottish dance music, whether you find there's leak between the styles, as he calls it, whether you find yourself doing Jewish stuff in the Scottish tunes and vice versa.
Well, as it happens, that's what I've spent quite a lot of time doing when I started to, over the many years, well, since about 2000, started learning klezmer. And I have to say, Ilana, thank you, was one of my very early inspirations. And I remember meeting up with Ilana back around then saying, oh, can you help me? Can you show me how this stuff works? And so you were, you know, she's always been there in the background, massively helpful and a great inspiration and organizer. So I had to find in Scotland, how does this all fit together? And I didn't want to just, you know, it doesn't need to be two separate worlds, the Scottish dance world and the Scottish folk world, and my klezmer connections, which tended to be not here in Scotland. It tended to be through going to Klezfest in London, Klez Camp in the States. That scenario has really developed and changed over the years, and now there's quite a bunch of us in Scotland, but that including Michael Alpert, who's straight across the water here. As I speak, he's like, if I could get in a rowing boat and row straight across over to Crail, that's where he is. And many of you, for those of you that don't know who Michael is, he's an extremely significant, massively important authority on Klezmer and Yiddish culture, and there'll be a half an hour with him sometime soon as well, hopefully. So back to your question, I started going out and doing a lot of bar mitzvahs and weddings and all kinds of gatherings, which incorporated both Scottish and Jewish, and we do a kind of mixture of all the dances. And that was really great because it was often for the Jewish community here in Scotland, who also want to do a Dashing White Sergeant and an Eightsome Reel, because that's what they know. We live here in Scotland, and they really love doing some Jewish dancing too. So the chance to bring the two together has been fantastic. Musically, I've not actually, I think each tune stands alone and is distinct and has speaks its own language. I have on occasion written the odd thing that's a kind of mixture of Scottish and Jewish, but it's a little bit dubious as to whether that's worked or not. Yeah, I don't know if there's any more questions or.
Why don't we have another tune, Gica?
Yeah, sure. So, yeah. Oh, I'll tell you what I was thinking of doing. Oh no, I don't know where that's gone, my book. No, never mind. I was going to actually play you a Scottish mouth music. I might still, if there's time at the end, fit that in. But no, I'm going to go back to the other nigun that I have been looking at, which is utterly different and much more mournful. Oh, Dave, would you be able to bring my fun fiddle book that's in the kitchen? I think it was in the kitchen. No, because thank you. This one is a Tish-Nigum, and it's number 26, and it's one of the bunch that Ilana sent me. And this is from 1913. And the notes that you sent, Ilana, that just with the background of this tune is from the auditory notes of Gopinka in the town of Dubrovno. So this is a Tish-Nigum, and I see it as a very sad Tish-Nigum. It's not a kind of table thumping Tish-Nigum. Okay.
Beautiful, thank you. So, do you think that the Scottish klezmer scene has changed in that? I guess it's about 20 years now then since you've been going. And I know that you're a mainstay, you're teaching, you're performing, you've been touring with Michael Alpert recently. How have things moved around? Because there's quite a few musicians, aren't there, who play klezmer in Edinburgh?
Yeah, well, massive thanks to Simon Carlisle, who got a group together, and there's a session that happens every couple of weeks in Edinburgh, which I sometimes go to. I don't feel I've been massively active in that, but there's definitely much more of a network in Scotland, and I think that's really, really supported by Fiona Frank and Skojek too, the Scottish Jewish communities. She's been a massive kind of galvanizer and given us funding too. So she was responsible for bringing myself and Michael together. Oh, thanks, Dave. Actually, it's not that one. Oh, it's here. It's here. Oh, sorry. Thanks. Yeah, it was actually at Fiona's suggestion who sort of brought us together, and initially I was just massively intimidated because I just thought, how can I play with Michael Alpert? But he's such a great guy and not at all up himself in any way, and you know, and just as well, he seemed really keen to learn some Scottish repertoire, so it kind of became a really nice exchange. And then we worked up a great set of tunes, which is a mixture of, it goes kind of Jewish, Scottish in a whole sort of medley, which is something I kind of strongly resisted before, but actually it's great. And it's been quite good fun trying to make them work seamlessly into one great long thing. So we've played together a fair bit, not enough, because I haven't got a rowing boat that I can get straight across the water there, and it's an unbelievably long drive to go around by land, and more often than not, he has been off somewhere else in the world, although he's not now. So I've been doing that, but also I've been so lucky to play with my own son, Finn, fantastic guitarist, who and also my really good friend Jen, who I'm going to give a big mention to, fantastic double bassist, who also organised the Songs of Separation project, which won big awards in BBC Folk Awards of the Year, and she lives just around the corner. And Finn at the time was not too far. This was pre-babies, because he's got a baby now, and that's changed things dramatically. But so we could all play together as well. I've often felt a bit like I've been in the position of, I've been the one that's tended to have been at Klez camp and kind of been looking and studying klezmer over the years, and then working with Scottish musicians who massively talented and versatile, but it's nevertheless a new genre to them, and it's quite hard work, because I've often felt like, you know, I'm not the best at kind of how to transmit this, you know, because I still feel I'm constantly learning it myself. But I've done my best, and we've had a few, you know, we've certainly been able to provide some good stonking good dance music, and that's been our major function, I think. And then lots of little house concerts. Yeah, so that's really developed over the years.
The sort of Highlands and Islands and played a little bit out there. Have you found a warm reception?
Yeah. Well, that was another Skojek funded project, and that's just been amazing. And in fact, well, Michael and myself and Jen are booked currently to go and play on Arran at the end of July. I just don't know whether that's going to happen or not anymore. But there's actually there's a whole kind of klezmer following in Arran. So and then we also went way up to the Knoydart Peninsula. So we've played, and we also went to Easdale, which is the tiniest little island off up near Oban, which practically was like had to get in a little rowing boat to go over with the big double bass and all the sort of sound equipment and everything.
Sounds incredible.
I see a question from Roger. You were asking, sorry, it's gone now, about the COVID, how the COVID-19 has affected musicians, do you mean?
Funding, he says.
Oh, funding. Do you know, funding, well, I can tell you there's a whole lot of crazy stuff happening at Creative Scotland, but that's really boring. I don't want to talk about funding too much, but yeah, a lot of funding has had to be kind of repurposed, or is being repurposed by Scottish government. But there's a lot of campaigns out there, and not least projects like Ilana's now is really boosting and promoting artists and musicians and highlighting that everyone has to keep working and still needs an income. So it is definitely, it's had a devastating effect for some people. But I think people are responding very creatively to it, and there's lots of house concerts, you know, concerts in your own home. And in fact, I'll just tell you now, we have a Scottish Klezmer cabaret that will be on Tuesday night. And it's at 7:30. I think is that going to be on the Facebook page, Ilana?
Yes, it's in fact already, it's on the Klezmer Strings Facebook page. If you put that on your markers, various things go up there. And
yeah.
It's Lag Baoma, which is traditionally we're not supposed to actually be playing music now for about a month or maybe two. But there's one day when you're allowed to kind of have fun. And it's called Lag Baoma, and it's next Tuesday. And there's a really big celebration in a place called Meron in Israel. And traditionally they have at least one clarinet player with percussion, and it's sort of expanded from there. But if you want to hear Nigunim, look up Lag Baoma and Meron on the internet, and you'll hear a lot of these songs without words, as well as actual music with instruments.
Yeah.
Gica, how about another tune?
Sure. What's I going to play next? Oh yeah. Because I'm sort of mainly been focused on the dance tradition. I guess I know I've kind of been less acquainted with Nigun, and now feel I'm learning more. Is there anyone there in the audience who's maybe just come in who doesn't know what that is? I don't know, Joe, do you? No, but it's more. It's wordless songs, which we're now putting on the fiddle. Anyway, can fill you in more, the Scottish contingent, later on about that. Anyway, it's led me on to another one, which has got a very different feel. It's also Beregovski, and it's from this book, which has been a bit of my Bible as well. But it's kind of later, as I understand it. That's right, Ilana? Is it these tunes have mainly come out of a later stage of his collection?
I think they're all quite mixed. That's a very mixed one. It's got songs and it's got instrumentals.
Yeah.
Some of these stuff from 1913 that you were talking about came from somebody else's expedition. They collected it and then he transcribed it.
Yeah. So this one is a bit newer. It's number 142 from this book. Which is Mark Slobin's old Jewish folk music book. And it was transcribed by ear from I. Weizmann, a journalist in Kiev in 1933. And it was learnt in Podobranki. But there've been various variations of it as well. This is definitely a Tish-Nignim, and this is one that I definitely hear real sort of table thumping with lots of people all around the table. It could be that, or it could be a kind of Hasidic trancey circle dance, kind of type Hasiddle as well. Here we go anyway.
That one sounded like it had a bit of the Scottish bleed on it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, as I went for a great walk along the beach this morning, and I was singing all the songs, and I was kind of walking the songs, feeling the pulse, and I had my bare feet in the water, and I was sort of splashing along in the edge of the waves. It's almost feeling warm enough now, and that is a great one. It's kind of like it's a walking song. In Scotland, that could be a walking song. If I just play another tune, kind of brought to mind from a completely different culture, but I think it has the same feel. Is that okay? Have I got time? Yeah. So it's a Swedish walking tune, and it's my total absolute favorite that I have led many couples up the aisle with this tune.
When walking, Gica, is that it's to do with weaving? It's not walking as in walking along the path, is that right?
Well, no, it's both. I mean, it can be walking as in pushing the loom of the weaving. Stop interrupting me. No, it's walking. It's actually for leading. It's a processional, so it's very much like the Dobra Noc, the Dobry Dens, the tunes that would be used to lead a group of people from one place to another. So I don't know whether this one, number 142, would be that. I hear that more like a stonking, table thumping tune, but this Swedish one is definitely a walking one. So anyway, it's these kind of tunes which have all got a really strong pulse, and have a lot in common with the nigun. I think with that kind of nigun. Yeah. Has anyone got questions? Oh, I can't hear. Can't hear.
There's a comment there. Sharon said you played a tune at her wedding.
Sharon Jacobson, hello, I can't see you in the picture, but are you there? It's lovely to see you. Yeah, right. Oh, that's great. Oh, well, I'm glad I played it then. It's a tune dear to my heart, I must say, but for that reason, for Sharon's wedding and others. Yeah. Yeah. So not sure what else to say about, but it's been a fantastic, interesting journey the last couple of weeks since Ilana contacted me about this project, just to explore nigun and think about all the connections with other cultures, especially Scottish, that are so similar in lots of ways. Yeah.
There's one more question actually, Gica. Do you play the fiddle while leading a walking group?
Actually, funny you should ask that. Yes, in fact, if you go onto YouTube and Google Fun Fiddle, which is my fiddle project here in Edinburgh, in Portobello, you'll see some great clips of a vast number of fiddlers and a street band parading right along the promenade here. And we've done that several times. So it's not actually like going for a rugged walk up a hillside. I've probably less done that, but we've done parades quite a lot, and we've picked marches and tunes that have that same feel, that kind of footstep pulse feel. Yeah.
It really comes across in your playing. It's lovely, that real sense of rhythm and just that sort of calm pacing. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much, Gica, for being with us today. It's been really fabulous to have you. Everybody applaud one more time. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much. You know, again, thanks to the host, Ilana, and thank you so much, everyone, for coming and listening on a lovely, hot, sunny day.